What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's the homie you didn't know you needed. And today, before we get into the gameplay, we're going to talk about Rocks, the new OP17 deck, mono blue leader. Very interesting kind of gimmick and game plan. And I've been playing a lot into Rocks, so I'm going to talk about how do we counter a lot of what he has going on. So we're going to talk about the Rocks leader in general, what the game plan is, what this gimmick is of the no counter, and then with the different components of his deck, how do we as a Croc main play into these different kind of situations and make the most of our game against this leader. So first, we're going to look at a very general kind of deck list. This isn't all of the cards that he has available. There is the Barbell and some other dude, I don't know, Ganzui. Just know these are beaters in my mind, just beefcakes, just big bodies. I think for the most part, you would just 8-cost Croc and stop them from swinging and just kind of go from there. But to start us off, Rocks. It is a 5k 5 life leader that has the ability, when attacking, you may trash a card from your hand, reveal the top card of your deck. If the revealed card is a Rocks Pirates type, draw 2 cards. So this particular list, and I think a lot of lists that this leader is going to run will be primarily Rocks Pirates. You know, blue players can't help throw a gravity blade in there. I don't blame you, but that is going to mess with your consistency. You have ways to kind of get around that. I think the Streusen is the one way to fix the top of your deck, but they might be running grav blade just for kicks. But that is going to kind of mess with what they got going on. So with this leader, every turn every turn that you swing, you're effectively drawing 2 cards. So typical blue, card advantage. That's what they're mainly going to be trying to do, is draw as many cards as possible to kind of level out their, not their curve, but stay consistent, find all the pieces they need and kind of go from there. So the main gimmick is that these characters have no counter. No card has counter in the traditional way. You're not pitching any of these to save Rocks, which flavor wise is really cool because, you know, he had this ragtag bunch of just heavy hitters. None of them really cared about Rocks, so why would you be able to pitch them to save him? I kind of like that. But this whole bottom row, each of these cards gives him counter. So 2Ks alone that you could just pitch, both of these events here, to start off talking about counter, you can pitch for 0 for 2k counter, which is crazy. And they both protect leader or character, just making sure. So you can pitch these for 0 for 2k counter. Also the Rocks, the 10 cost, if you only have 0 cost characters on your board, which you will, you can pitch him as a 2k counter. So these are really good. So first off, he already has just like naturally 12 2k counters. The full of lead, you see this, I have it as 1 here. I don't know how many people are actually running this one. You can rest it and trash a card to get 1k counter. So you're still having to actually, you know, you're going negative to get these counters, so they're not getting it for free, which makes me feel somewhat better about it. But that's these cards here. And then as far as the characters that have posted or text that gives them counter, we'll get into Shiki and Newgate in a second. These are the real issues. But Charlotte Linlin, 5 cost 7k power. On play, your opponent chooses one. Draw 2 cards, or your opponent trashes 2 cards from their hand. Usually, you just let them draw the cards. Hopefully they're bricks. Hopefully they're, you know, just basic lands, and you can kind of go from there. Later in the game, I find myself going ahead and trashing 2 cards. If I have bricks, or if they're getting lower in hand size and I just don't want to give them more advantage, I'll trash from my hand. But on your opponent's attack, once per turn, trash a card, which is nice because it's still like they're pitching a 1k. They can give their leader or character plus 1000 power during this battle. So they're still down a card, getting that 1k power. They can pitch their bricks, so any card in their hand can be 1k. You get to Newgate and Shiki, that's where it gets a little annoying and you have to really focus these bodies. So Newgate in particular, 6 cost 8k power, on play, draw a card. So he's going to be neutral if he uses his ability, because once per turn, when a leader with a type including Rocks Pirates attacks or is attacked, you can trash a card to give him 3k power. So of course you can use this defensively, offensively, so you have to look out for that. These 3k pumps on rocks, I'm usually eating those. I try not to really waste a lot of counter from hand trying to protect for that. If you see Newgate on board, just know that swing is coming and it's going to be pretty big. It's probably going to be around 10k that we have to deal with. Eat or throw a blocker in front of it. And then Shiki, we'll get into the control pieces. I think as far as counter, this is the last one, and we'll use Shiki to kind of pivot into the control conversation, because this is the main way they're going to be attacking into our board. So this is a 7 cost, 9k power rush character rush. When attacking or on opponent's attack once per turn, you can trash a card, give an opponent's character minus 3000 power. That's insane. So on the defense, on their defensive side, they're pitching a card for 3k counter basically. And then also if they're swinging into our bodies, let's say we just played out Miss All Sunday, we did the Bones. So Bones is sitting there at 6k. This knocks it down to 3, and then they can swing into it for 9, or they can swing into it with any other body, any, vanilla statted 5k body, and then we're having to come out of hand for a lot just to block that. The key thing with these characters is that we're gonna want to like double Wednesday. Like a single Wednesday getting kind of cute with the rock with the Bones. No, these need to go, because that 3k is hella annoying, especially the Shiki, because it's affecting any character that swings. The Newgate is still an issue, but he only protects rocks, which is nice. So getting into the control conversation and continuing that, the other main pieces they have are going to be the Gloriosa, the Stussy, and the John. The John is a little more simple. He's a 4 cost, 6k power. If they have Rocks Pirates type and this character is rested, you can only attack into it. So it's a little baby kid. Same fruit, same kind of ability. So that's actually kind of cool. Activate main, they're going to rest it as soon as they play it. Draw a card, trash a card. So they're doing a little filtering. I'm not that mad at John because I want to swing in the bodies anyway. So I don't really care, because even if it didn't have this ability, you got a 6k body on board that's rested, I'm going to hit it. That's just me. So this is kind of annoying, but especially like later game, but it is what it is. Gloriosa, this is the main reason that we want to run Zala in this. They always have it on curve every time. So if you put out, you do your Mr. 2 into any 5 cost, they're going to bottom deck it every time. So we need to put the Zala out and then start spamming the board with our Bones and our gems and things like that. So this is just something to be aware of. The Stussy, you can't play around because it's base cost 6 or less. So it's going to freeze something. So you just kind of eat that and then make sure you get it off the board. Because if they play the Stussy, every turn after that, or the turn they played, if they have extra Dawn, they can rest or make sure any character can attack until our next end phase. So this is something that we also focus and just get off the board. And then lastly, as far as control, is the Z, Wang Z. 4 cost, 6k power blocker on play, trash a card from your hand, place all opponent's characters with the base cost of 1 at the bottom of the owner's deck. So I wasn't aware of this card. I thought I'd throw out a Wednesday, kind of getting ready for the next turn. I didn't have a lot of plays. This is getting rid of all of that. So there's no, you have to be aware of the G to not just have 1 cost laying around, because they will try to get rid of those. And they have all these on their 4 Dawn turns. So we can play around the Gloriosa. If you played a Searcher on your 3 Dawn and they're going into their 6, like go ahead and just KO that at the end of your turn just to get that value, or they're just going to bottom deck it. And the John, I'm not too worried about, to be honest. So that's all their counter, which is crazy. All of these are giving them counter. And the fact that these are just straight discard this card, get 2k. I haven't really dealt with the unblockable to this point. That is something to be aware of. But for 1 Dawn, they can give rocks unblockable, which is kind of insane. But yeah, they're pitching these for straight value. Also, I love KOing the one, I think it's Miss Merry Christmas, to just get rid of the stage, just not deal with that. And then as far as card advantage, they're neutral on the Streusen, they draw a card. The Kill, they draw a card. Don Marlin, they're going to go and get one of these 2Ks. Newgate draws cards. Who else draws cards? I think that's it. 10 cost Strucin, kill Don Marlin. John draws a card and Newgate. Yeah. So like I said, very good at controlling the mid range, especially with this Shiki. And we can play around most of this. A lot of this card advantage, I'm not really worried about him drawing an extra card. That's fine. Most of them are bricks, as long as you're aware of which abilities he has available. Shiki's a menace. Newgate's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. The Charlotte Lin, draw your 2 cards. I'm not that worried about it. We can play around the Gloriosa. We can play around the G. Just take the Stussy off the board. Like, we just need to be aware of the tools they have, and it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not easy. It can be a little annoying, but it's not that terrible. Lastly, as far as the end game, resting, we don't, thank goodness they don't have a 10 cost 12k blocker, so I'm sick of seeing that. But this Newgate on board makes the math really weird. So what I end up doing a lot is actually ground death the Newgate. If I have a 1 cost character out, or maybe I'll swing with something first. Actually, no, I'd rather do it first. I'd rather have like a smaller body out. Let's say they stop something from attacking with the Stussy. I'll KO that off rip, minus the Newgate, and then ground death it so he can't use his 3k ability. That's just one less thing we got to worry about. Because I mean, they have blockers, but we're assuming they don't have the Gloriosa or the G out. But this is something that I really am not too upset about ground death ing, to just take it out of the variables. So that's Rocks. Really cool deck to play into. I think the game plan from our side doesn't really change. We know they're not trying to rush us down, so you want to chain some Miss All Sundays and try to take as many of their tools off the board and be mindful of which ones we're taking off. Shiki is public enemy number 1. Newgate is next, even though he only protects leader. So it's like, if they have let's say if you had to choose between the Shiki and the Newgate on the board, I'd go for the Shiki. I'd also go for the Stussy over the Newgate. Just things like this, depending on the board state, we want to be kind of careful of. But the Zala is key for countering the Gloriosa and mainly the Gloriosa, I think. So yeah, so we're gonna get into some games. If you have any other insight as far as the Rocks deck, if you've seen any other Rocks decks that are a little different than this, like what are they teching in? The set's not even out yet. So it's like, it is what it is. Also, second game, great game. There's gonna be a blunder at the end. I'm sorry. You'll see the very last swing, I swung and then like, I just like, why did I do that? It is what it is. You'll understand. Stuff happens. But let's get into the games. All right, first game is a Rocks, obviously. So we are going first. I'm actually okay with that, because it seems like first we need to play the video to see the video. I'm okay with that, especially for this kind of play where we play the Makita on 1 and then on our 3 Don, 5 and 5. Fully pressure in life, especially when they don't have anything on board that gives them counter. The lowest thing they can give us from hand is a 2k. I love that. So we play out the Makita. We have 2 Mr. 2s in hands. We got Miss All Sundays in hand. I'm feeling great. Feeling good. How is Rocks? Getting hit in the face. So he's probably going to take this. And there it is. So he gives us a 2k. Takes the second one. And like I said, get rid of the Makita, because they will drop a G and then we just lost out on filling our board. The Kaido I didn't cover. He has a blocker, or he is blocker, and then he can give something minus 3,000 on play, but we don't have anything else, so he just wants a body. So that's fine. He does a little filtering. We go ahead and take that. Once again, this isn't a game where you can rush, because we build bodies pretty quickly, but we can also go slow and be safe. So here we play out the Mr. 2, typical, rested down. We're asking for a 2k out of hand. And we really want to play a little slow and just start pulling resources. That's a 10 cost we don't have to worry about. Swing another 6 into it. We get another 2 cost, or another 2k, so that's great. Going into their 6 dom. What's Boogie gonna do? There it is, Gloriosa. So at this point, I don't think we had a Gloriosa or a Zala to even counter that. It just is what it is, kind of annoying, but hey. So they're swinging 7 at life. Checking. We go ahead and take. They have a fair amount of just like vanilla static bodies. I don't know if we play out the zombie Luffy in this matchup over a Miss All Sunday especially. So here we go ahead and grab another Miss All Sunday. So we have 2 in hand. We're gonna go ahead and do the thing. Swing at life, they take. Swing 6 at the thinking Kaido. Asking for a 2K or a block. Fantastic. I'm okay with that. A lot of cards in hand. So we're going into our 9 Dawn turn. They don't have a ton of. This is Stussy later is crazy. 6 Dawn, resting 2 bodies, and one of them is just anybody in the game is kind of crazy. There we see them play out the stage. They're doing some filtering. Then we go ahead and give them a 1K. So now we're at 9 Dawn. So here, we're not gonna die next turn. I don't think. So like we can play a little more kind of value with the Sunday. I don't think we need to start doing, Croc patchwork loops just yet, especially if we can start clearing a few bodies. So 6 and a 4 on the Kyo. We go ahead and get a block out of that Kaido. Which I don't know. Seems kind of weird. Like I would have just let the kill go. It's not really serving any purpose besides just being like an extra body. But the Kaido did his job. But you also gave up a 2K, which is kind of weird. Also, using the patchwork to keep the Stussy rested is really good. Because of course they have to rest it to use the ability. So that is a really nice play. -3 on the Stussy and keep it from going active is very nice. So we play out the Miss All Sunday and get a blocker, and we do just that. We patchwork the Stussy to keep that down. So they can Stussy again and use 6 Dawn, but then they're playing out just another blocker, I guess, with the Kaido or a G or something. So they go Strusen, they're gonna check the top. Placing on bottom. I like to see that. It's like at least you didn't see what you wanted and you're drawing a random card. And there's the new gate. So we know that leader is going to have 3K protection every time. And then they're going to reveal, draw 2, and then they can pitch for the new gate for another 3. So that 11, you got it. Could also block with the gem, but I think we're feeling comfortable enough to where we just go ahead and take that and make sure we have everything we need, because we also don't have a ground depth in hand. So maybe that's what I was really looking for. So we go 6 into the Stussy. That's fantastic. And then we just start going face. We get a new gate effect, so they get 3K off of that swing. They take, swing another 8. They take, or they block with the Kaido. So feeling pretty confident. We're gonna keep the new gate from attacking, and then go ahead and just keep that kill from attacking, pitching a Miss All Sunday. I don't think we're really gonna play another Miss All Sunday this game. They're at 2 life, fair amount of cards in hand, but nothing like, I mean, we know they're mostly bricks, but you have to assume that Arax is going to keep a fair amount of those like 2K events in hand. So here we have to start thinking about a 10 cost rocks, which would be hella annoying, especially if they played a new gate off of it. but also with that 10 cost rocks, they're playing both of those characters out of hand. So they draw a card, which sucks, but then they're still down 1 because they're having to play 2 out of hand. So they play the Stussy. The gem can't attack, and the crocodile also cannot attack. They Gloriosa a Bones. Unfortunate. So we have a Zala in hand, but we haven't been playing the Zalas out with the Miss All Sundays or the Miss All Sunday loop, so it kind of is what it is. We can't attack with the gem, so we go ahead and throw it in front of that. Cool. 10 down. No patchwork. 5 cards in hand. 1 blocker, 2 life. We can here, if we can clear the Stussy, we probably don't die, and we have a lot of 2Ks and a ground death in hand, so feeling pretty good. I think we just go face. I mean, beyond the Stussy, of course, we want to clear that, but so we go 6 into the Stussy. I don't think the 6 is necessary now, because they have to give us. Actually, it kind of is with the full of lead on the board. If we swing 5, they can just pitch a card and get that 1K. So swinging 6, they have to give us one of those 2K counters. So we're swinging 8 into the Stussy. Really not trying to deal with that. I wouldn't save it. That's just me. 2K is kind of steep, but good card. So it's up to Boogie. And this is 2 times speed. Mans was thinking. Let it go. Fantastic. We swing 8 in a life. Great. Less cards out of hand. Do a little loop. I think we got everything we need. We go ahead and pitch the Searcher. Stop both of those from attacking. No rush in their deck except for character rush on the Shiki. So feeling pretty good. Now, unless they do a Stussy, which is going to use up 6 of their Dawn, we're going to end up with all 5 of our swings. So they 10 cost rocks. And here, like, they drew, and now they're going to have to, if they do both, yeah. So now they're down to 2 cards in hand. They do have a blocker. In this case, I'm not letting you draw 2 cards. I can't let you get close. So I'm going to trash 2 out of my hand because I have plenty, and I would like to close out next turn. So I didn't finish that thought. So I'm okay pitching too. We have a grip. Like, we had 10 cards. Okay, they're swinging for 8. That's fine. That's where the new gate just gets like so annoying. So I think here, yeah, I think here we just start clearing all of their kind of tools. We KO the Merry Christmas to get rid of the stage. We nullified the new gate after minusing it off the leader ability. Really just taking all the tools away that we can. So I was really proud of that. Proud of that line. But here we just start hitting them. 6, 9, 9, 11. Then we had another 11K swing. So that was really good. Key thing about that game is that we did not see them play a Shiki, thankfully. But overall, kind of mitigating the risk, and we didn't play around the Gloriosa because we didn't see Azala till later, and I'm not one to play out my 5 costs unless I really need to start clearing some bodies like mid game. But no, that one felt really good. But yeah, we don't really rush down rocks. That's not a thing that happens in my testing. But if you have a different experience or you're seeing different kinds of rocks players, let me know. But this is the second game. So like I already said, I don't feel like I need to give you a disclaimer. Like, stuff happens. It was like midnight, whatever. The whole game was good. The end is a little, yeah, but we'll see how it goes. So we're actually going first. again, which with a searcher, I'm not too mad about it because we're gonna go 5/5 to face on our second turn. And unless they're giving us 2Ks, which is silly, we're okay with that. So they don't do anything. We swing 5. Nothing else we really want to play. We swing 5. And they give us a 2K. Fantastic. Fantastic. Here we remember going into their 4-Don, they can play the Wang Ji, so we go ahead and KO the Makita. They swing 5, we go ahead and take. And we got Captain John. So Captain John, we do have the Mr. 2 and a Miss Wednesday, so we can make sure it dies. Either make sure it dies or just swing into it a couple times and ask for more cards out of their hand. But here we're gonna go ahead and -3, 6 and a 3, that dies. 5 at life, they take. So we go into their 6-Don. Once again, Gloriosa, like it like you got to do what you got to do. So it's either we play out a Zala and don't swing at the John and it's still sitting there, or we go ahead and get a little aggro, play out the bones, and then just eat the Gloriosa effect. It just kind of is what it is. We search, go ahead and get a Disappointed. I forget what I was looking for. Probably a Miss All Sunday. So that's unfortunate, but 5 at life. Lot of cards in hand. Yeah, as we go ahead and get a 2K and then Zala. So a little late, but now we know they can't like Gloriosa and just get rid of our board again, which is really nice. There's another card I'm missing. It's Gloriosa and something else that the Zala gets around, because it's not the Stussy, because the Stussy's base cost. But it's also good if they do run Grab Blade to get around that. They play the Strusen to fix the top of their deck. They go ahead and do a little filter and draw a card. We'll give them 1K. And there's the Shiki. So 9-Don, that Shiki needs to die immediately. So I'm pretty sure we do a double Wednesday just to get that completely off the board. They do have the Gloriosa blocker, but we have 2 swings coming at it, and if we can get that down to 3K, even with his ability to -3 a character, we should be able to get rid of it. I think this is my first time actually having to do a double Wednesday on a Shiki, so I was like, does this actually work? So go ahead and -3 down to 6, deploy, -3 down to 3. So 6 at 3. They go ahead and take that down and then give us a 2K. And then we're going to do another 5 at 3. And then we still have the Zala swing. Oh, sorry. Forgot we had the Makita. So we get another 2K. Like I don't know if they thought I was going to stop hitting that man, but like every swing we had, get the Shiki off the board. Like it's so annoying. It's so annoying. I think it's worse than the Newgate if it sticks around. Start of their turn, they swing at the Makita. She put in work, so I'm not even mad at it. They play out the rocks into the Newgate Stussy. Great combo. But since they don't have the 3-Don, they can only stop one thing from attacking, which is nice. And they go 8K. We ain't got it. I ain't got it if I wanted it. I can't even save it. So we go ahead and take that. Interesting hand. Interesting hand. I say if you can keep getting value, keep playing the Miss All Sundays, but if you're gonna die, then you should probably start chaining Crocs. I think that's pretty straightforward. And we don't have any counter in hand, which is really annoying. I think I'm considering if we pull a Ground Death from life after we take a few swings, how we want to handle that. So here, trying to get the Stussy off the board. No blockers, so that's nice. And the Newgate can't protect characters, so she is relegated to the past tense. We're gonna go ahead and swing 7 at life, asking for 2 cards. No, they still have the Newgate ability, right? Or maybe they already used it, I forget. So they go ahead and take both of those. So hand size is pretty stout. Here the Gloriosa, once we actually did it right, they can't get rid of one of our they can't bottom deck anything, which is really nice. They go 12k into the Sunday. Literally can't do anything about that. And then Captain John. So they're at 1, playing out all their stuff. But luckily we dealt with the Shiki. So we're coming in full force with all of our character swings. And they're coming in for 9. I think we grab a little 2k. That's okay. No patchwork. Patchwork here would be nice. Thinking. 7k into the John. Because we have to. It's not even like a... just how much do you want to swing into it, basically. So then we go 8 and a 6. I think I was thinking, should I go higher? I think you do go 8k, even with the Zala, because then they have to come out of hand with 2 cards to save it. They give us the Gloriosa block there. Thinking. Right there, forgot that John had to be attacked into. So looked around for a little bit, but we go ahead and go 7. Once again, I think you go 8, but it is what it is. We pitched the Missile Sunday. We don't expect this game to go long enough to want to really worry about that, so we go ahead and rotate the Croc and get 2 of those attacks off the board. So we need to close out next turn. They play out the Stussy, 3 more Dawn. We can't attack with the Missile Sunday. And this is their only swing, because the Streusen can't swing unless he just wants to swing for 2 for shits and gigs. So they're coming in for 12. That's fine. No blockers. Take our last life. Now, I'm gonna pause right here. Let's analyze. 4 cards in hand, 1 life, no blockers. They do have the Newgate ability. We do not have a ground death. So the only things giving them value right now are the Full of Lead for the 1k counter, and the Newgate can give their leader 3k, right? And we have 2 swings. So we would need to Makita, hopefully find a ground death. We can KO the Makita, -10 on the Newgate, ground death to nullify that ability. Then he has 1k on board that he can pitch a card for, and then 2k's out of hand if he's got them. So at that point, we would need to really just split it between Croc and Croc, and then hope they don't have it. I remembered that I did not do that, and then immediately kicked myself. So we do find the ground death. We're gonna KO the Makita. Up until this point, fantastic. No notes. They have 1k counter. I swing 7. I swing 7, immediately realize I only have 2 swings. They just get out of it, and if I had swung 9 like I thought I should have right after I swung, I think we would have had this. So there's 11, because I know they can't block it anyway, and then they swing back. So let's wait a second and see what they have in their hand. But like that, like it's fine because it's a children's card game and like it's whatever. But like it's annoying because I was like, I could have done something about that, and just from a lapse in judgment, completely through. But we see that we have lines to deal with these different tools. So like I was saying, up until nullifying the Newgate, no notes, fantastic. But then swinging for 7, and they have bricks. Of course they have bricks, but then the only thing they could have done was like this 2K, like hindsight's 2020, but they only had this 2K, and then they had the full of lead. So they had just enough to get out of that 8. So if I was thinking and just swung 9, that would have hit, stacked on the ACOS Croc, swung again. So I don't know. It felt good getting the Shiki off the board and actually putting that into action and like nullifying the Newgate. Nullifying the Newgate actually works really well. I like that. And then patchworking the Stussy mid game just to be able to keep as many bodies swingable as possible is really good. But yeah, it was late. It was like 11:30. I was tired. I hadn't had that much to eat for lunch. So yeah, those games are really fun. Rox is really fun to play against. And I think that's because as soon as he was like leaked and like in the sim, I was running games trying to figure out how to play against it. So the first handful of games are miserable. I was like, I don't know what to do with this. Shiki was just running my pockets. It was terrible. But as I played more, it started to make more sense. And I realized I should do this with more leaders. I don't just focus a leader, but that's the one way like I have to play to kind of figure out like, how do I play this game? Because like understanding how Croc works is fine. And I come from Smoker. If you could count to 10, if you could do your little loops, like you were golden, like it was fine. But like the combos with Croc are a little different. We got a few more tools and options at our disposal to deal with any threat. So threat assessment is a little more kind of key. But then also playing into each leader, whether it's Rox or RG Luffy, it's a little different what you do. How you do it's the same, but like which characters you focus and blah 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 blah. So those are really fun. Speaking of RG Luffy, I might do this for RG Luffy next. Like how do we play into that? If you have any decks that you're kind of wondering how to play into or that are tough for us in general, leave them in the comments down below. Or if you have any tips for this Rox matchup, let me know. But I do want to start focusing on different leaders as I continue to like kind of refine the Croc gameplay. Just pick different leaders and start checking them off to at least not be blind going into these matchups. So, but yeah, that's gonna be it for today. As always, if you're feeling the vibes, make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.